Hi friends, today we're going to show you how I process the asparagus for stir frying or however you want to use it. That one of the biggest thing people don't like about asparagus, they say it's too tough, and they always go for small, very thin shoots. But that's exactly the opposite you want. If you buy these fat ones, they're actually much easier to take care of. Basically, all you need to do is take your peeler and just kind of take a thin layer off at the bottom of your asparagus. That's where it's got the very, very fibrous skin, and you peel that off. And then you take it with your thumb and kind of snap it. And where it snaps off, that's where the tough ones that you just break it off. Don't take a whole bunch and take a knife and just cut it. You waste a lot. So this way, you make sure that you get the most out of your asparagus. So you peel this part off, and again, snap it off right where it will snap. And after that should be pretty tender. And what I also do is I remove these little hard part of I don't even know what you call that. Like growing notes or whatever. But anyhow, I just kind of lightly use my peeler to just glide it over lightly to take that off. Because I don't like it how it feels in my mouth or and when I swallow it, it feels like it's cutting me. So I scrape off as much as I can. And then when you're ready to cook it, after you wash it, then you just cut it on the bias, and then you just rotate, like each time you cut, so that you have more surface that will soak up the flavor that you season it with. So, and like this one here, again, you just take it and you take off those hard parts of the asparagus. And then like this one is skinnier, and then you see when I peel it, it's a lot easier to peel. And then if you see, if I snap it, look at right there, very little. That actually probably could go all the way to the end. It's probably still tender. But I like to cut the end off a little bit anyway. Oops, forgot this part. Then you catch that little hard part of the asparagus off. And some people will say, oh, that's a lot of work. But I don't look at it as work. I look at it as therapeutic. You figure out a way to make the most out of the food that you get from store. You know you're the one that touch it, you're the one that clean it, you're the one that process it. And then when you cook it and present it to your family, it's delicious items on your table. Instead of, oh, that is so tough, I can't eat that. And by the time you got the tough part, so-called tender, everything is mush. No wonder nobody likes vegetable. I wouldn't either. But anyhow, don't look at it as work. Look at it as that you get the most out of your money, and that you get to enjoy food that you never imagined how good it is, especially when you do it yourself. So, alright, later on we'll show how we cook it. All my stir fries, they're pretty much all the same thing. Got chopped garlic as a must. If you like spicy, a little hot pepper, chopped hot pepper or cayenne pepper powder you sprinkle on, and a little meat for the umami. And since we don't always have meat shredded for this kind of stir fry, that's why I always use the little dry shrimp and a little anchovy or anchovy paste. And if you use anchovy fillets, usually 1 or 2 fillets is enough to really flavor a lot of vegetables. And of course salt, a little soy sauce just so that it don't look so pale, and that's also in part umami. And that's pretty much about it. All the vegetables can be cooked that way, whether it's leaf, tuber, whatever. And then you could enhance it with your own choice of herbs or spices, or as simple, like I say, garlic and bacon grease or chopped bacon, and even just that and plain salt. That will make it delicious. Expand it with use your imagination what you want to put in. But the trick to it is don't kill it twice. Everything that I cook is I try not to kill it twice unless it required, like Kahlua pork. But everything else, especially vegetables, don't overkill it. Shrimp, don't overkill it. Chicken, don't overkill it. Pork chop, don't overkill it. Steaks, don't overkill it. It makes everything enjoyable. Season it properly. We'll see you later. Thank you. Alright, it's time to cut the asparagus. And you probably notice how some of my asparagus looks extra green on the tip. Well, that is because it got freezed.
Freezer damage.
Well, in the refrigerator. I got to put it back. I got to push back a little bit too far, and it freezed some of them. But this is what it looked like. When I store it in the refrigerator, what I try to do is I try not to cover the tip of it. And it's probably better to put a piece of wet paper towel underneath there in the bottom of the bag, but I didn't. I intended to eat it up quick, so I don't want to do that. But this is the fresh one look like. You see, there's no freeze damage at all. And what I do is I put it in the bag like that and gather the bag around and exposing the tips, and then tied it up to keep it from drying up, but also keep it from sweating inside the bag. So this actually keeps a lot longer by doing it this way, and just stand it up inside the refrigerator, but don't put it in the back of the refrigerator. So now let's cut it. Take it on the sideway and cut it on the bias, and then just go cut and turn as you go, like that. And if you have noticed, when I cut the part that wasn't freezer damaged or didn't got freezed, it's like crunchy. You could hear the crunchiness, and when it's frozen part, it'll be like no sound at all. I'll shut up and you see it. Oh, this one not quite freezed bad, but here, let's do it again. Well, that didn't freeze too bad either. See how that is? That's freeze all the way through. That's why it wasn't crunchy. But you'll eat the same, just that part when you bite into it, it will be mushy and versus crispy. But we're not wasting anything. And maybe we could do a little math as well. I bought these asparagus at $1.49 a pound. And usually you see asparagus at $2.99 a pound. So if you do your math, then you would know that $1.49, you're buying it for half the price. So I always buy things when it's on special. Why would you want to buy 1 pound of asparagus when you get 2? And I only buy them when they are on sale, so that I'm not restricted to what I eat. And then on top of that, when vegetables or fruits are on such a low price, like less than half or right around half of your normal price, what that means is that the fruits or vegetables at its prime and abundance, that means it has more nutrient. So you eat them when they are at their prime, and then you pay half the price. Make your money last twice as long. But they don't want you to know math. Then otherwise you wouldn't know. You go, oh, I don't feel like asparagus today, even though I could save half the money. But no, I don't want asparagus today. No, you want asparagus today, because you get to keep the other $1.50. There you go. And done.